Okay, so this is going to be somewhat of a tutorial on how I used Xact anyway to make our game engine for our game. So I started off with a blank project. I just created a blank project. So what we want to do is we want a wave bank and a sound bank. So right click, new wave bank, and just press enter. So this is the name of our wave bank. And we also need a sound bank, so we're going to call it sound bank. Okay, so we have our wave bank and our sound bank. Our wave bank is going to be where we store our WAV files, and our sound bank is what we're going to be used to access those files in Xact. So first of all, we need to do is get a WAV file. Xact only takes WAV files. It does not take MP3 or any other format, so you need to convert it to a WAV file before you can use it. So I have one just right on my desktop, so we'll go grab that right here. So it's a fire arrow, so you can either right click in here, insert WAV files, or you can just drag and it will automatically put it here. So we have our fire arrow. So we want to make a sound effect for that. So right click, new sound, and right here under general, change the name to something more towards the sound effect. Try to keep it as short as possible, so let's just call it fire arrow. And that's fire arrow. So we want a cue. So I like to all the cues the same as the sound effects, so fire arrow. So okay, notice how this is red. So we need to link these together so the sound effect knows what the WAV file is. So drag the WAV file onto the sound effect. Likewise with the cue, we have to drag the sound effect to the cue. Okay, so they're no longer red. So these are set up properly. So we have different settings in our sound effects. So we have loop. So for music, we want it to loop indefinitely. Since this is going to be a sound effect, we don't want it to loop. So we can also change its volume, its pitch. So these are more things you'll notice when in game. You'll have to go back and change it. So for our game, a lot of sound effects for our player were too high, so we had to decrease it. So it's basically when you have music, it's easier to tell. In our cue, we have we want to tick this limit instances, so we want 1. So each time the cue is called in XNA, we just want it to play once and only once. So at the moment, it's categorized as default. So we want to add a new category. So click on right category and go right click, new category. We want to call this sound effect. So on fire arrow, we change it to a sound effect. So as you can see here, the category changed. So when we want to manipulate the sound effect category in XNA, we will call the category sound effect to only affect the things in that category. So if we music, we have like volume and all that, we could only change the music, and in this for this example, the fire arrow, we can only change the sound effect. Okay, so that's basically the basis of what you need to do. So next thing you need to do is file. You can either file, save the project, or click here, save the project, and then we need to build the project. So build, finish. So this will allow us to use this in XNA. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like in XNA, but so using our product. So we have our audio. So this is our game. So I want to go to add existing item, and you need to find out where your engine was saved. So I'm going to use our game engine. So we have nothing here. So basically you're looking for your win file, there'll be nothing there. The reason is because XNA doesn't look for the formats of the engine, the sound bank, and the wave bank. So click on this and show all files, and now they'll appear. So, and then we add them all to our audio. I already had them added, so I'm not going to bother. So one other thing you need to notice is in XNA, the properties of the sound bank, the engine, and the wave bank will be all. It'll give you an error when you first enter it because it's already built in Xact. So it's trying to build it again, which you cannot. So what you need to do is do two things in the properties for each one of these. So in the build action, I believe it's set to compile by default. Switch it to none. And in copy to output directly, I think it's set to do not copy, selected to copy always. So you need to do that for the sound bank, wave bank, and the engine. So this will allow it to build properly from as it already is built already in Xact. So this is the basics on how we used Xact for our game. So hopefully this will come in handy in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching.